I'm Gary, and this is Coasting with Culture, which is all about combining theme park visits and riding roller coasters with various cultural experiences around the world. Earlier this year, a new coaster club was formed off the success of an event in February, and they wrapped up 2021 with what would be their biggest event so far. We'll take a look at how this club came to be, and then head on down to Florida to take part in the first night of the festivities. Back in February, I went to Texas to join a group of coaster fans for VelociStumble, the first event hosted by the Drunk Riders. While the event faced some difficulties from the freak snowstorm that struck the Lone Star State, it was still an excellent time hanging out and meeting fellow enthusiasts. Because of the excitement from this first event and multiple conversations that happened over the weekend between folks who all love riding roller coasters and enjoying a few beers, the Drunk Riders worked with the crew at Coasters and Brews to create a new club, the Buzzed Bars Coaster Club. They managed to get things organized in time for their members to take part in this year's Hollywood Nights at Holiday World and would hold another Stumble in Virginia. Unfortunately, these came at a time when I was still early in the new job, but I would eventually get to a point where I had enough paid time off to cover attending an event, and that would be the last event of 2021, VelociStumble, a weekend in Orlando, Florida, where a large group of coaster lovers would meet for 2 days at Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure, as well as 2 nights of tailgating at both Central Florida Fun Spot parks. It had been a number of years since I was a part of a coaster club, but after meeting several folks who were going to this event back in Texas, it was one that I knew I couldn't miss out on. Of course, this meant having to get down to Orlando, so it was back onto a Via van to the light rail, then the light rail to the airport. Since I had a decent bit of time before my morning flight, I went to what has become a favorite pre-flight stop in the central terminal area of SeaTac for some pulled pork nachos and a white ale from Alaskan Brewing. This year seems to be the year for domestic variety in my flights, as I was taking the first one with Delta since the Canadian coaster run of 2019. It would be nice to be able to take advantage of their destinations from Seattle a bit more in the future, since they utilize SeaTac as a West Coast hub. There really wasn't much to see after takeoff because of the clouds, so this gave a good opportunity to catch up on a few movies such as Free Guy and The Jungle Cruise, which gave me a ton of joy as a former skipper of the Jungle Cruise at Disney World every time Dwayne Johnson's character made awesomely bad puns and goofy jokes. With a fairly uneventful flight, we arrived to good old Orlando International Airport. Upon arrival, I met up with Ricky and Nick, and we split a lift to the Universal Resort. I caught up with Matt, my roommate for the weekend, over at the Aventura Hotel, and we then made our way to Fun Spot Orlando for the tailgate to start the weekend festivities. It was pretty incredible to see the size of the group when considering that the first Stumble had around 20 people that made it, and this group would reach over 70. This was also the first to have international participants, as there were at least 3 who came from Europe. But I think most people would agree that the party really got started when Sarah drove the truck that allowed Sloan to make a grand entrance.
300 full-time!
On his truck was a payload of what might be one of the coolest things ever done by a coaster club, as Mike worked with False Idol out of Texas to create special Buzzed Bar branded beer cans, filled with a couple varieties of brews. I definitely enjoyed a few excellent Hell's Park Hefeweizens both nights. But of course, it isn't a proper coaster club without some coaster riding. So we made our way into Fun Spot for some rides on the likes of White Lightning, Freedom Flyer, and some rounds of go-karts. White Lightning has long been my most ridden coaster, as I'd come and marathon it multiple times when I lived in the Orlando area. I was surprised to hear people say that it was a rough ride, as from the few spins on this night, it was just as much fun as I remember it being 6 years ago. It's not the biggest thrill machine out there, but the pops of airtime with the multiple curves make it one that shouldn't be missed if visiting Central Florida. The first night was a blast seeing old friends again while meeting many new ones, and this was only the first night, as there was much more to come the following day. Thank you for watching this Coastin' with Culture video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button below to see future videos here on YouTube like these ones, which you may enjoy as well. Additional content can be found at coastingwithculture.com, and you can also follow Coasting with Culture on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for announcements, previews, and updates. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, take care and safe travels.